I don't know how concerned are you with the death of 27-year-old Promise Ilerioluwa Oladimeji Aloba, popularly known as Mohbad. So, what is your take? He died suddenly, yes, but then accusing fingers are being pointed at members of his former record label. How do you feel? It's not related to you, but how do you feel? What's your take?
To be honest, let me start by saying it's sad that we're losing one of the greats, because just paying attention to him and seeing how he has grown, it's sad. I just feel like we shouldn't lose anyone by any circumstances. But at the same time, it's a case that is ongoing, so I really don't want to comment. I know his manager very well, SI. She's a friend. And I've seen, and just to say, she's one of the people that I feel like for the street hop artists, she's one of the people that has really invested and have, like, this is not her first artist. She's worked with a few other bigger names than she's working with him now. I think it's a sad thing of what has happened. I just feel like we're still here watching to see what the outcome of the investigation is.
Exactly.
So they investigate it. Once they investigate it, then we'll comment. But I just feel like it's a great loss for Nigeria. It's a great loss for the general industry, because I feel like this is one of the greatest experts. It could have been one of the greatest experts. He has a great voice, have a distinct voice, have a huge career ahead of him. So I think it's a great loss. I think that's the best I can comment on that.
Oh, good. So if you recognize him as one of the greatest musical experts from Nigeria, so how do we manage record label artist relationship so that this kind of thing does not arise again? We don't need to lose another person. So as an expert, a top executive in the industry, how do you think this can be managed to avoid a reoccurrence?
I feel like dialogue is always the best thing. And let's have conversation, because I've seen a lot of people just come out and talk. A lot of people have been saying this, but I feel like the guy has been crying out for some time. Nobody has sort of really showed up to talk. Now everybody, but at the same time, it's like, how do we have the people in those authorities come and have conversation? I've seen a lot of conversation happening left and right, but it's like, how can we learn from this and create structures and create better healthcare system? How do we create systems to protect people in general? And then how do we, like, for example, you're a journalist. I'm sure like you have years of training to get to where you are.
Exactly.
But with this young artist, like 1 year you're here, next year you're here. So there's a lot of pressure that comes with it. There's a lot of things that they go through. I just feel like having the proper channel to develop them and have this conversation will help them, and just go. I'm just talking in general to all the artists, because I've seen a lot of artists in my short time.
All right, Mr. Ogwu, since after the death of Mohbad last Tuesday, there have been a lot of talk on the social media, both founded and unfounded allegation on the social media. I can tell you that people saying a lot of things. One of the things I've heard in the last couple of days is that, well, for any artist to make it, he has to join a record label and also belong to a cult group. Is that a pattern in the industry? Is that what you do in the Chocolate City or not?
No, we don't do that. We're a law-abiding label. We stand by the law. We follow that. And I feel like, but the first part to say you have to join the label is, think about, like, down to Davido is signed to a label, Bonner is signed to a label, Davido, Bonner, Whiskey is signed to a label. Because you have to understand that music have a lot of investment. You have artists, top artists, that to push them is like at least $4 million, $5 million a year. Nobody can cover that money, and some people have the money in Nigeria. But how many people can cover that money and invest on people? You get what I'm saying? Even the people that have the money, they're signed to label, because some international label have like 300 staff, 400 staff working. Oh. So imagine an artist that 400 people are working on his account versus you, that is only you and your manager. Who will go far? So at the end of the day, I feel like there's this huge place for labels to belong and work.
So yes, I know the label is a launching pad. One needs to have a launching pad to launch he or herself to fame. Now, if Chocolate City does not practice all those unwholesome things, are you aware, as an insider, as a player in the industry, that there are labels who also initiate their artists into cult group? Is it true or false?
To be honest, I've not seen any.
Have you heard of any before? Have you heard of any before?
I'm not in those conversations.
Mr. Ogwu, let me tell you, the allegations are so grave that some are even saying they get artists involved in gay practices and the rest of them if you really want to make it in the industry. How true is that? Are you hearing that for the first time from me, Mr. Ogwu?
I'm hearing that from you for the first time.
Those are the things I heard on social media in the last 2 days following the death of Mohbad.
That's crazy.
Very crazy.
Anybody that tells you that wrong.
But is it not high time you also do soul searching in the music industry?
I feel like, you see, the thing about the music industry that people have to understand is that because music industry is one of those industries that is very shiny out there. So one thing happened, like we spend so much time talking about the bad that has happened without talking about everywhere you go in the world, they play Nigerian songs. They play Thames. They play Thames and Whiskey. Calm Down is one of the biggest songs in the world now. Not even like Afrobeat in the world. You hear one of the songs we own, CK, Love One Thing, one of the biggest songs in the world. You hear like those good things happen. We don't celebrate and say, hey, let's give them the flowers why they can have. But when, like, let's say, hey, let's have a Whiskey Day in Nigeria, let's honor Whiskey. Let's have a Rema Day in Nigeria, let's honor Rema. Let's have all this. But we don't glorify those things. It's when the bad one happens, then we come and say, hey, this must be this. I know Nigeria, sometimes we hate what we don't understand, we call it a mystery. So once there's a mystery, we don't understand it, we call it other know. Having said that, I do not know. I can neither confirm or not confirm that this happens. I am not involved in that. I don't support that. I'm a Christian, very much Christian. I do not support that. I do not support that.
All right. Are there other things you do as a record label to denigrate the dignity of your artist? Because just a few days ago, a female artist raised the alarm that the wife of the record label owner and also a popular rapper in Nigeria turned out to a house girl. I don't know if you have read that story. Turned out to a house there. Is it you are laughing. So do you do this also? I don't know. Do you practice the what they do in the mechanic workshop, that an apprentice can go to the gas farm to go and do farming, to go and, wash plates, wash clothes? Do you denigrate the integrity, no, the dignity, human dignity of the artist in the industry?
No, we don't do that.
In the Chocolate City?
If it's the person no, we don't do that. We have an office. We have a proper.
So beyond Chocolate City, are you aware that these unwholesome practices are happening in the industry, and you have kept quiet?
I'm shocked.
You are shocked.
I'm shocked to hear what you just said.
Okay, I'm shocked that you are shocked, Mr. Abuchi. I am shocked that you are shocked because you are a top executive and an insider.
Because at the end of the day, it's like, let me ask you a question. This person you're talking about, can the person afford me? The person could afford the maid. He's one of the top people. If he's a top rapper, he's one of the top people. So I just don't think that is like some cases doesn't even make sense. Like when I hear them, I'm just like, okay, this person is the neighbor, this person has been the top. This person came and said, oh, you're the queen. He sold us you as the best, one of the best. What is it for him? What is he going to gain to make you? Like sometimes some things I just don't want to reply to give them to glorify what it is.
All right, Mr. Abuchi,
that's one. But I'm saying like that's the same person that look at how many people. And there's one part of the music business that let me address that. I feel like that's one of the things that give me joy and reason to be in this business is the fact that you can get an artist today. In 3 years, you change their whole story.
Yes, sure.
So then you move from grass to grace. And then let's look this artist for the example you mentioned. Look at people he has worked with in the past 4 years or less than 6 years. There's certain people that their whole family, their whole generation has changed because that's the power of the music and the power of music business. And those are the things that keep me, that give me the drive, and I'm happy to come talk about.
All right, Mr. Abuchi, I can tell you for free that the ongoing probe or investigation about the circumstances surrounding the death of Mohbad, we actually shake a lot of things in your music industry at the end of the day. A lot of things will be exposed, and the industry will no longer be the same. Because I remember on the social media too, one of the allegations is that the record label being suspected to victimizing and subjected him to violence actually recruit young artists for drug peddling. I don't know if you are also hearing that from me for the first time, Mr. Abuchi.
You see, I'm shocked to be honest. I've been off social internet.
That the drug peddling, but at the end we cannot judge. Like you said, investigation has started, and it's a multi-level investigation, and we hope at the end of the day the truth will be unveiled.
Yeah.
But then I want to believe
Let's let the people doing the job.
probably the music industry in Nigeria is less unregulated. That is why we are having all these challenges. Do you share that sentiment that you are unregulated? Government is aloof to the plight of the music industry as part of the larger creative industry. That's why we are having the issues we are having now. And what do you think can be done?
You see, this is the part where, like, when people start going, now start disagreeing with people on that, is to say that, think about the music industry. This one industry that we do not get incentives.
Exactly.
When COVID happened, the entertainment industry is one of the ones that was hit the most. Because there was no shows, there was no live shows happening. So, because up until now that we now make money from streaming, before the major source of income is live. That happened, nobody was around, nobody showed up for the entertainment. Unless maybe you have heard they shared money for some people. But nobody is here. It's only when it comes to election time that politicians are looking for artists to use.
And they pay you for appearing at their campaign rallies.
That's all they do. Sometimes they make promises to you, they never keep their promise. But my point is saying, like, I feel like we don't need to have this for a tragedy to happen for people to be invested in it. Let me give you some statistics. They say about 70, we're a young population. About 70% of Nigerians below the age of 35. So we're a young population. So what's the best way to speak to the younger population? Music is a powerful tool. Music is a weapon. I feel like it's high time that the government needs to be involved and say, okay, how do we create grants around this? How do you create structure around the music business to empower the musicians, to empower people coming? How do we do that? And I feel like people talk about Mohbad, like, you have to understand the effort it took him to drop a single. You have to understand the process when he's going to be who he is. Like, this is happening. How we're talking about this Latin, and how we're talking about those street hop guys. What do they need? How can we empower them to make sure they have the proper resources to grow up a bigger business? That, because if you like it or not, those people get more access to your rooms,
so Mr.
your bedroom, because your children listen to them. And yeah,
because we're running out of time, we are almost dragging to the end of the interview. I just want you to specifically say within a few seconds what you need the government to do, apart from giving you money, giving you lifeline, giving you support. Regulation. Talking about regulation, the industry seems not to be regulated enough, and all manners of things are happening in the music industry. So what do you think the government can do to regulate the industry and restore some measure of sanity?
I think first thing first, they need to get involved.
Sure.
They need to start creating policies that protect.
We now have a new ministry, for creative economy, and music is part of creatives.
Yeah, the new minister have reached out.
Oh, good.
So hopefully that meet will happen soon. She's reached out, and I feel like they need to be involved. They need to look at what we're doing, look at how can they add value, look at how can the industry add value to Nigeria. So it's not a one-way thing. We don't want them to give us. Yeah. We want the platform so we can give. For example, look at the mileage Mohbad has created. That's the power of entertainment. That's the power of his brand. That's how powerful he is. So we can do the same for the country. So we just want them to come to the table, let's have conversation. Come, let's have conversation. When they play your song on radio, let him get paid. At the end of the day, what are the policies that he put in place that his son's son can eat from the hard work of his father? So those structures, that's what we want to see, and systems, and make sure the government invests in them.
All right, finally, Mr. Abuchi, shortly before we commence this program, a delegation of the Lagos State government led by the Deputy Governor, Dr. Obafemi Hamzat, actually paid a condolence visit on the family of Mohbad in Lagos, and they offered to help the family and also help his 5-month-old son, Liam. Now, at the industry level, there are things you also do for your members when they are no more, or you just move on as if nothing has happened?
No, so for example, we're one of those labels that we give accounts. Every artist, from we gave example from Brian Moore to Jeremiah Gang that was here like the first artist, we send them royalties every month, every quarter.
Oh, good.
We send them a report, even though if for anything that happens to an artist who is no more, he has a nest of kings.
Yeah.
Then that person gets royalty, gets report detail, gets everything in detail. So everything is clear.
In the regarding Mohbad, I think one of the issues also being raised on the social media. I've seen a statement posted on a verified social media handles on Sunday that he was in court already with Malian record label to retrieve his son and some of his unpaid royalties. So, as a industry, can you also help to step in to make sure that he gets justice at the end of the day?
I feel like when something is in the courts, it's in the courts. So
it's your amount to subjudice. All right. Many thanks to you, Mr. Abuchi Peter Ogwu, Chief Executive Officer, Chocolate City Group, who joined me live from Lagos. I appreciate your time, Mr. Abuchi, for joining us this evening, and I hope to see you again.
No problem.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Abuchi Peter Ogwu is the Chief Executive Officer of Nigeria's foremost musical label, Chocolate City Group. He joined us live from Lagos, and that was about the size of today's show. My name remains Bode Gbadebo. It's bye from here.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.